Hello and welcome to Kashmir Now. I'm your host Shreya Savijay. Let's take a look at some stories of this week's episode. Traders, shopkeepers protest as government continues with its knee-jerk lockdown strategy in illegally occupied POK. Pakistan attempts to disrupt the peaceful protest organized against rigged elections in illegally occupied Gilgit-Baltistan. Hundreds of enthusiastic youngsters participate in a bodybuilding competition held in Srinagar. Jammu and Kashmir government launches integrated sheep development scheme to promote establishment of sheep and goat units in the territory. And later, we'll take you to get soaked in the exuberance of the Konark Dance Festival in our special edition of Incredible India. While countries around the world have systematically got away with the term lockdown, the situation is remarkably different in the illegally occupied POK, the region under Pakistan's control. After failing to prepare itself to fight the deadly COVID even after months of its outbreak, the administration in the region is still resorting to lockdowns and other strict restrictions, causing massive inconvenience and losses to locals. Recently, a large number of them took to streets and demonstrated against the lockdown imposed by the government. The traders and schools associations recently took to streets in Mirpur city of illegally occupied POK after the government imposed 2 weeks lockdown in the region, which may extend further to another fortnight. They have called it a knee-jerk reaction of the government to conceal its incompetence amidst rising COVID cases and a simultaneous international pressure. They say such calls do not address the problems they face during the shutdown of services. While some of them have already been flouting the norms, citing the decision as arbitrary and apathetic, others have vowed to disregard it in coming days. They say while the governments around the world have taken care of their people's needs during the lockdown, the one in POK, which only works at the commands of Islamabad, has done nothing to address their needs.
ये सोचने का मकाम है कि क्या मौजूदा हुकूमत का दिमाग खत्म हो गया, क्या इनके प्लानर सो गए। दुनिया जहान में जहां लॉकडाउन किया गया वहां पे पब्लिक को कंपनसेट किया गया। कहा जाता है कि रियासत माँ जैसी होती है और कोई माँ इतनी जालिम नहीं होती कि जो 2 हफ्ते के लिए 2 महीने के लिए अपने बच्चों को मुकफ्फल कर दे और फिर उनके खुर्दो नोश का बंदोबस्त भी ना करे। लिहाजा आज का ये पुरअमन एहतजाज ये मुतालबा करता है कि मौजूदा जुल्म सितम पे मबनी लॉकडाउन की पॉलिसी को खत्म किया जाए और तालीमी अदारों को SOP के तहत अपना काम करने दिया जाए।
आज किसी को इतना एहसास नहीं है, जो लोग महीने के बाद अपने ATM से काम चलाने वाले लोग हैं, उनको क्या परवाह कि किसी गरीब के घर का चूल्हा किस तरह बंद हो रहा है और किस तरह उनका निजाम जिंदगी कैसे चल रहा है। आज किसी गरीब से पूछिए कि उसके लॉकडाउन के अंदर उसके ऊपर हालात कैसे गुजरते हैं।
The small traders and shopkeepers in this illegally occupied region are among those who have been affected most due to the pandemic. The chilly winters before the outbreak of the pandemic had already hit their employment. Severe government measures, which have otherwise proven to be counterproductive, further hampered their businesses. And now another lockdown in the region will push them to destitution. Few say the government should impose curfew only in those areas where the corona positive cases are more, not in the entire region.
गरीबां वास्ते एक किस्म का अजाब हो रहा है। पाकिस्तान पूरा खुला है, जेड़ा इलाके कोई बीमार है उस इलाके बंद करन, बाकी ये आम बंद करना मकसद ही कोई नहीं है। जिस इलाके में जो है तो उसको बंद करो, बाकी इलाकों आजाद छोड़ो, कोई ना कोई अपना दाल रोटी का कोई बंदोबस्त करन।
More than 12,000 people have contracted the deadly virus in the ill-equipped Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. But the residents say the local administration, which operates strictly under the commands of Islamabad, never responded with alacrity the disease demanded. While other countries across the world prepared themselves in the first few weeks of the outbreak, the administration in the illegally occupied POK didn't do anything to improve its medical infrastructure and preparedness during lockdown. This is the reason locals say the government is forced to announce lockdowns, which do not gain anything substantive in fighting against the virus. As locals and political leaders in illegally occupied Gilgit-Baltistan continue to protest against the rigged elections, Islamabad has started using its malicious methods to get away with them by spoiling their peaceful demonstrations. Recently, the Pakistani police, along with few unidentified people, took to tear gas shelling and used force to disrupt their demonstration. A report.
At least 4 vehicles and a building of Gilgit-Baltistan's forest department was put on fire by few unidentified people during a peaceful protest conducted by locals and political leaders against the alleged poll rigging in the Legislative Assembly elections. Policemen took to tear gas shelling and aerial firing to disperse the demonstrators and disrupt the peace, which is a clear indication of Islamabad's insecurities, which is desperately trying to cover its electoral fraud. Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan's party PTI has formed the government after winning majority of the 23 assembly seats. Opposition calls it a blatant misuse of power. Hundreds of communists too have joined in the demonstrations following a protest call made by their leaders. They say they will not move until justice is delivered to them. But instead of resolving the crisis, Islamabad has resorted to violence to disrupt the peaceful movement.
गाड़ी से बाहर निकलो, मैं क्यों निकलूंगा कहा तो मुझे पेट्रोल दिखाया और मुक्का मार के मुझे खींचते हुए बाहर निकाल कर इतने में मेरे गाड़ी पे पथराव किया, गाड़ी को आग जलाया, मुझे कोई पता नहीं था। मैंने किसी को भी नहीं जाना, वो सारे मुंह बांधा हुआ लोग थे, किसी को भी मैंने नहीं पहचाना। मैं गरीब आदमी हूँ, मैं जुटाल से आ रहा था, ये सारे भाई लोग देखते थे, वहाँ जीप इसको देखते हुए उन्होंने कोई हवाई फायरिंग नहीं किया। 3-4 बंदे बैठे हुए थे, उन्होंने कोई हरकत नहीं किया और अगर मैं कुछ कहता था तो मुझे टपकाते थे सर।
Even before the election date, the political class of Gilgit-Baltistan had cast aspersions on the manner in which Imran Khan and his team was trying to influence and rig the election in the PTI's favor. But the electoral body, which boasts of being autonomous and fair to all, had turned a deaf ear to their complaints, and now when they are holding peaceful protests, it is trying to steal their mandate.
हमारे लोग अभी आपके सामने हैं, पुरअमन एहतिजाज है, इवन तकलीफ भी नहीं दे रहे हैं, गाड़ियों को भी आना जाना दे रहे हैं, बीमार है, खवातीन है, बुजुर्ग है, उनकी गाड़ियों को पुरअमन तरीके से ये रोड आपके सामने सारे खुले हैं, साइड में एहतजाज करके बैठे हुए हैं और ये पुलिस वालों को किसने यहाँ भेजा है? इस पुरअमन उसमें रेंजर्स भी यहाँ, जीप स्क्वाड भी यहाँ, क्या ये क्या बनाना चाहते हैं गिलगित बल्तिस्तान को? हमारी समझ से बाहर है। हमारा मुतालिबा है एक हल्का खोलो, अगर उसमें वो जीत गए, उस हल्के को प्रॉपर तरीके से कोई जज के ज़रिए उसको खोले, इंसाफ वाले जज होगा उसके ज़रिए खोले। अगर वो हम हार गए तो हम अपनी शिकस्त तस्लीम करेंगे, क्योंकि हम समझते हैं कि हमारे मैंडेट को चोरी किया है इसलिए हम चाहते हैं कि एक हल्का क्यों नहीं खुलवाता है इमरान खान।
While all elections in the illegally occupied regions are important to Islamabad, this year's elections were of uncommon prominence and desperation for Pakistan. Pakistan's all-weather friend China wants Pakistan to gain complete political control over the region for its strategic and ambitious China-Pakistan economic corridor. Under its growing pressure and demands only, Imran Khan in the run-up to the polls had declared the status of a provisional province to Gilgit-Baltistan.
Next, we move to Jammu and Kashmir, where bodybuilding has emerged as a new craze amongst the youngsters of the Union Territory. They are not just taking it as a career option, but are also participating in several districts, state and national level bodybuilding events to showcase their mettle. So, today we take you to a bodybuilding competition organized in Srinagar city, where a number of youngsters participated.
Hours of intense workout along with following a strict routine. This is how these youngsters have made themselves fit and healthy enough to be a part of a bodybuilding competition held in Srinagar city. Organized by the Indian Army, the Sher-e-Kashmiri bodybuilding competition was conducted as a part of Operation Sadbhavna with a motive to involve more youngsters into sports activities so that they stay away from the menace of drugs.
इस कंपटीशन को हमने दो फॉर्मेट में पूरा किया। फर्स्ट फॉर्मेट में जो लोकल फॉर्मेशंस हैं उन्होंने अपने लोकल इलाके के बच्चों को हिस्सा लेने का मौका दिया और उसमें जो सक्सेसफुल कॉम्पिटिटर्स थे और जो विनर्स थे उनको आज हमने यहाँ पे इकट्ठा करके 8 वेट कैटेगरीज में 50 से ज़्यादा बच्चों का हिस्सा लेते हुए उनका हमने कंपटीशन का आयोजन किया है।
The competition had a total of 50 participants who had been selected as finalists in the competition. They had been screened in preliminary rounds, which were organized at 9 different locations across northern and southern parts of Kashmir, where around 200 participants had participated. The first of its kind initiative aimed at showing the youngsters ways to channelize their energy in the right direction in order to turn themselves into responsible adults. Participants were happy to be a part of this event.
हम पहली बार इस कॉम्पिटिशन में हिस्सा ले रहे हैं। हम बहुत खुश हैं। हमने पहली बार इस कॉम्पिटिशन में हिस्सा लिया है। इससे हमारे मतलब जो लोग ड्रग्स करते हैं आज, इससे इंसान का माइंड डिस्टर्ब नहीं रहता है। जो ये बॉडी बिल्डिंग है, इससे हम बहुत अच्छे नेक्स्ट लेवल तक पहुँचे। इसमें बहुत स्कोप है। मैं बहुत खुश हूँ। हमारे जो इस कश्मीर में बॉडी बिल्डर्स बहुत हैं, मतलब ड्रग्स नहीं ले रहे हैं, तो इससे सब वही पे आ रहा है, तो हम बहुत खुश हैं।
Like in several other fields, in bodybuilding too, Jammu and Kashmir has produced a number of champions who had not just earned name at state level, but also at national and international level. One among them is Mohsin Rashid, who secured third place in fitness men's physique in Mr. and Mrs. Asia Bodybuilding Fitness Championship held in New Delhi in 2019. Then there is Rehan Rasdev, who is well known as the crown king of Indian Machismo. He won the title of Mr. India Men's Physique 2017. Monica Gupta, she became the first woman from Jammu and Kashmir to bring home a medal in the athletic woman category at the World Bodybuilding and Physique Sport Championship held in Mongolia in 2017. And Ankit Sharma, who made it to the finals of India's most coveted male pageant, Mr. India 2017. There are several other youngsters in the state who are very talented and want to opt for bodybuilding, but it's just they need a proper platform to do so, and Sher-e-Kashmir bodybuilding competition is providing them the one. With such competitions held on regular basis, youngsters will not just get a chance to live their dreams, but also to make their state shine at national and international arena.
The animal husbandry sector is flourishing rapidly in Jammu and Kashmir. With more farmers practicing it to have higher returns, the industry is opening doors for more advancements and technological developments. Moreover, an initiative called Integrated Sheep Development Scheme is helping farmers and breeders in increasing their profits by ways of enhancing productivity of their cattle. Take a look.
Jammu and Kashmir is a grain-growing union territory where a large percentage of people are directly or indirectly engaged in agricultural activities. Animal husbandry, one of the branches of agriculture, has become a luring business because of its profit-generating capacity and low investments. To give a major boost to it, the government of Jammu and Kashmir recently launched Integrated Sheep Development Scheme 2020-21 to promote establishment of sheep and goat units in the Union Territory. It even made a formal announcement of a dedicated allocation of Rs 10 crore under capital expenditures for establishment of these units. In the Mir village of Udhampur district alone, more than 400 registered breeders are deriving benefits from the scheme.
यहाँ पे लगभग लगाना मीर सेंटर में कोई करीब 400 ब्रीडर है जो भेड़ पालन का काम करता है और लगभग हम यही चॉइस होती है कि हर ब्रीडर को फ़ायदा पहुँचे, इसलिए हमारी रूटीन डोजिंग, डिपिंग, ट्रीटमेंट, वैक्सीनेशन चलती रहती है। उसके अलावा भी गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया और हमारे शीप हस्बैंड डिपार्टमेंट की न्यू अलग अलग स्कीम होती हैं। लास्ट टाइम में बहुत चेंजिंग आई है क्योंकि पहले जो होती थी यहाँ पे सिर्फ देसी ब्रीड होती थी, उससे क्या होता था, उनकी वैल्यू बिल्कुल नील होती थी। तो अब यह है कि गवर्नमेंट ने अच्छे से रैम दिए हैं, जैसे रेसी फार्म में रैम है, हमारे पैंथल फार्म में रैम है, बिलावर फार्म में रैम है, हमारे राजबाग में एक बक्का फार्म है, तो वहाँ से उनको रैम मिलते हैं, अच्छी ब्रीड के मिलते हैं, जिससे उनका मटन प्रोडक्शन अच्छी होती है, वूल प्रोडक्शन अच्छी होती है, तो उससे क्या है कि उसका रेट अच्छा मिलता है।
Integrated Sheep Development Scheme is an innovative initiative of the government that will supplement and complement existing and the new schemes of the Union Territory, as well as the centre that promote animal husbandry. Under the scheme, 25 sheep or 10 goats are provided to the beneficiaries free of cost. And then, from the third year of establishment, the Animal and Sheep Husbandry Department will retrieve 5 or 2 female sheep or female goats from each beneficiary for the next 5 years till the livestock is fully retrieved. Breeders in Jammu and Kashmir are happy with the introduction of this life-changing scheme, as earlier they used to cradle local breeds of sheep and goat who could not produce enough wool and mutton. But now, under the scheme, government is providing them with superior quality breeds.
लगभग मैं 20 साल से भेड़ पालने का काम कर रहा हूँ। देखिए सर, पहले हमारे पास जो लोकल भेड़ें थी उसकी ऊन भी कम होती, वज़न वेट भी कम होता था। जो सरकार गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से हमें भेड़ू मिला है, इनकी ऊन भी अच्छी होती है, बॉडी वेट की वज़न भी ज़्यादा होता है, तो इनसे हमें ज़्यादा फ़ायदा होता है। देखो सर, गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से वैक्सीनें भी मिलती हैं और डोजिंग भी मिलती है, ट्रीटमेंट भी मिलते हैं हमें। देखो, जो पहले माल होता था वो अच्छी नस्ल वाले नहीं होते थे। जो गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से भेड़ू मिला जो हमें, इससे अच्छी नस्ल हुई, इनका बेनिफिट है, ऊन का भी अच्छा है और वेट से भी अच्छी नस्ल वाले हैं। इसको कीमत भी देते हैं तो हमें अच्छी कीमत से मिलती है।
Jammu and Kashmir has enormous potential and conducive environment for sheep and goat farming, but still there is significant gap between demand and supply of mutton. The proper implementation of Integrated Sheep Development Scheme will not only prove to be a big step in the run for making the Union Territory self-sufficient in mutton production, but also create ample employment avenues for youth.
Next, we move to our section of Incredible India, where today we'll take you to explore the mesmerizing Konark Dance Festival of Odisha. Held in the backdrop of Mammoth Sun Temple, the festival recently witnessed its 31st edition. Along with it, the city also hosted the 9th edition of International Sand Art Festival, enabling visitors to witness both the brilliant showcase of art and dance at the same time.
Decked up with colorful lights and glittery artistic pieces, the way to exquisite open-air auditorium situated in the backdrop of Konark Sun Temple was casting a magical spell on visitors. Popularly known as Natya Mandir, the auditorium is famous for playing host to Konark Dance Festival every year. Jointly organized by Odisha Tourism and Odissi Research Centre since 1989, the 5-day cultural extravaganza aims to boost tourism in Konark along with preserving and increasing the reach of Indian folk dance forms. This year, amid the pandemic, several precautions were taken by the authorities to keep social distancing maintained and avoid the virus spread.
For the first time, this is open for public. Though with lot of COVID limitations, things have been arranged beautifully. I must thank Honorable Chief Minister of Odisha and the entire team for organizing this. And this is also going digital, it's going online also, so the entire world is going to watch. And this is definitely a dream to be here in Konark and to perform here. So this is wonderful to bring the normal life back. Even we are fighting with COVID, but we have to defeat COVID by opening this with limitations.
This year, Event 2 saw some mesmerizing choreographies in classical dance forms of India, including Odissi, Bharatnatyam, Manipuri, Kuchipudi and Kathak. A series of Odissi dances performed by a troupe of Odisha Dance Academy under the guidance of renowned dancer Guru Aruna Mohanty brought the audience on the edge of their seats. Denoting mythological stories involving male characters, the choreography brought out the devotion and grace of Odissi, very well defining the traditional aspects and touch of creativity.
ये जो एक कोणार्क फेस्टिवल का स्टेज है, ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड जो हमारे आर्टिस्ट, डांसर्स, फैकल्टी है, सब इस स्टेज पे परफॉर्म करने के लिए सबका बहुत मन है और ये अपॉर्चुनिटी है इस मतलब इतने प्रेस्टिजियस स्टेज में परफॉर्म करने के लिए. सो यस, वी आर लकी कि हम लोग यहाँ पे इस बार परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं और अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस रहा.
Another thrilling presentation was in Bharatnatyam performed by a troupe from Chennai. Being a predominantly solo dance, this dance form leans heavily on the abhinaya or mime aspect of dance. The nritya, where the dancer expresses the sahitya through movement and mime. During the festival, dancers enthrall the viewers with their amazing footwork and various acts representing mythological stories of morality, romance, and historical linkages with pilgrimage.
We always long for performing these prestigious festivals and all. It's very I know it's very difficult to get opportunities, that too for these young girls to perform in this big platform. This year especially, we have not performed since March. This is the first performance on stage.
This is the first time we are performing since the corona lockdown, everything. So it is really emotional and it is very overwhelming. And the two performing in a prestigious stage, we all feel very happy to be here.
Alongside Konark Festival, International Sand Art Festival also captured the major attention of the crowd at Chandrabhaga Beach. About 70 artists from across the country participated in the festival and created sculptures based on relevant themes like environment, culture, national and international affairs. Though every year, artists and sculptors from other countries also participate in this event, but this year, due to COVID-19, they did not participate.
ड्यू टू कोविड इस बार तो सबको पता है कि इस हालत में इंटायर वर्ल्ड जूझ रही, बट मैं धन्यवाद दूंगा कि उड़ीसा टूरिज़्म को, तो वो इस फेस्टिवल को स्टॉप नहीं होने दिए और इसको कंटिन्यू करने दिए। और बट एनी हाउ उसमें थोड़ा सा चेंजेस हुआ है। जो फॉरेन आर्टिस्ट बाहर कंट्री से आते थे, ड्यू टू कोविड वो नहीं आ पाए।
In these many years, both the Konark Festival as well as International Sand Art Festival have carved out a niche of their own in the country's annual carnival calendar by providing a wonderful opportunity to the budding artists to make their presence felt on the international performing arts arena.
So, that's all we have for you in this week's episode. Till we see you next week, it's goodbye from the entire production team.